everyone, and welcome to another episode of Confessions of an Autism Mom. I'm Amanda, and this week's episode is a little bit special because we have a mom and her son on with us. So we'll be talking with both of them. Kajsa and Kaden is joining us this week in this special interview. Hi, Kajsa. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. And Kaden, how are you?
Good.
That's wonderful. And you all, he is using his AAC device to speak with us. So this is going to be really fun. And I am so glad that he was open to come on and talk with us today. So let's go ahead and hop right on into the episode. So we're going to start with you right now, Kajsa. Can you take us back to the beginning when you realized that Kaden might have had autism, and how did the diagnosis process unfold?
Probably very, very young. You notice that your baby doesn't have like some of the development that you might see other babies have. So I kind of noticed those things, and it took a while for us to go through the diagnosis process because you kind of don't know where to start. And then I kind of started early, and you have people telling him, telling me he's not going to do this, he's not going to do that. And of course, I didn't believe that. So it definitely was a longer process to get where he needed to be to get the proper diagnosis. But it started pretty young.
Okay. And what were some of your feelings when you originally thought that and wanted to get him tested?
Very nervous, anxious. You wonder, what is his future? What does that look like for him, for you? And how can you help him? And you want to get the best things. So it kind of just makes you worry a lot.
Yeah, that's understandable. And when you said the process took a while, how long did it take?
We actually didn't get where we needed to be till he was about 7. And so then after that, the process went pretty fast after that. But like I said, that's 7 years of, kind of a little bit of lost time. But once we got the diagnosis, it took about a year, to get the resources, to use the diagnosis, to get those resources that you needed.
Okay. And looking back now, is there anything you wish you would have done differently, or someone had have told you, prior to the 7th year?
I don't think I did enough research for myself. I kind of wish I had done a little bit more research. And as a young mom, you kind of don't, want to ask around, that whole thing. But I kind of wish I was a little bit more open. I'm open now, but I wish, back then I was a little bit more open to talking about it, asking questions, just to get a little bit more insight on what, he needed at the time or what direction to go in.
And how old is Kaden now?
Kaden is 12 going on 13 this year. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And does he do ABA therapy, speech, occupational?
We actually just tested out of the ABA. He mastered all his goals, and he had been doing ABA since we got our diagnosis. Might have been a little bit before that. So he's done very well with that. And he takes speech, OT, and PT. And we actually do those at school, and we also used to do them through the hospital here. And so once again, he mastered a lot of his goals, and so we, took a break, but he's taken a lot of therapies, done a lot of things. Kids during the summer come home after school, they get to do, sports and things, but he worked really hard, and he did a lot of therapy and a lot of work. So
congratulations, Kaden, for meeting your goals.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And did he sign?
Yes.
Oh, he is a really great communicator. And I want to ask, with him signing and the AAC device, did you notice a big difference in like behaviors? Like, because I know for me, I think communication is an issue for us. Mm-hmm. And we aren't getting anywhere. We have an AAC device, but it's kind of like a slow process because Aiden is 4.
Yeah, Kaden was a little bit older when he started. So he started with LAMP on an iPad that the school kind of gave us because, they were like, I think around 5 or 6, they were like, he got to learn how to communicate. I must give his teachers props because they spent a lot of time with him on his AAC device. This is actually his new one that's his now, and we worked really hard to get that. So this is Nova Chat, and so it's a lot more different. But he's doing very well with using it. I must say. So I would say, but we started with Caden with PECs, and PECs was a big thing. And so once he really mastered PECs, then we kind of moved on to the AAC device. He's doing really well with PECs too.
Okay. You ever skeptical about starting ABA therapy?
Yeah, because they're coming in your house. You got people in here. They're kind of invading your space, his space. So it was an adjustment, I must say, at first. But I will tell you that once we made those relationships, like, we were very sad to see them go. Because you lose all your therapists here and there. But we built some really good relationships, and we've met some really good people. So I don't regret it. But you are nervous at first. I get it.
I haven't tried home, which I think we're probably going to come upon that because I'm going to let him start school next year.
Yeah.
But we've been doing in center, and he has been doing wonderful. I'm just nervous about home because at home is their space, and they feel like I'm free. So how was that adjustment?
There were a lot of moments. I'll say like that. Some tough moments, but there are so many things that they worked on that I feel like if they didn't, we would still be struggling. Like water, like he didn't like take a bath, like it was like really bad. And so we did therapy in the bathtub. And I mean, now you can't get him out. He wants to stay in there all day. But just so many things, feeding himself, working on food. And I just feel like if I didn't allow them to come in his personal space, he wouldn't be able to thrive, and so it's hard. I will tell you. A lot of moments.
What's one of the biggest challenges that you had besides actually going through that process?
Once you get the diagnosis, that's kind of your key, right? So the next thing was, getting Medicaid so you can get those resources. Of course, my husband and I, we make too much money. And so getting a waiver, like going through that whole process, that drags it all the way out, and it makes it a little bit harder. But once we got that, then that was like a key to everything. But, once again, the resources, you make too much money, you can't get this. So that was the hard part. So just finding, and once I started talking to people and finding people that wanted to help me and knew those keys to get into those things, I started really listening and doing those things. And that really helped.
And do you mentioned a waiver. So we have what we call a Katie Beckett waiver. You all have that as well?
Well, it's called the CCC waiver here. And so he has that, and that's able to get the insurance that then you can use to get everything, like his AAC device. It's just the open door for that, but getting there was so hard.
And I'm glad you all got what you needed. It's all about fighting and advocating. And I love that you didn't give up. And I think a lot of parents want to give up, and we can't. Because pushing through is what gets us what we need on this journey.
Most definitely.
So you are a teacher.
Yes.
And are you a special education teacher or just?
I am. I actually am. And last year I begged, literally begged, to start an exceptional needs classroom for kids, mostly with autism, that I had been working with, and that path, and I knew that path, and so they allowed me to do so. So I'll be going into my second year with that classroom, and it's amazing. I love it.
And what grade do you teach?
I actually have a variety of grades. Right now I have between kindergarten and 5th grade. So
amazing. Yeah. And what you asked for, would that be like the first one in your city?
Yep.
Well, kudos to you.
Yeah, it's like, Caden didn't even get to experience that because, now he's older, but he actually, they've done really well with him. Like he's actually this is his 3rd year. He's going to go into a general education classroom and spend most of his day. And he has loved it. He has thrived. He got all A's on his report card, which is really awesome. And they just really took him in and really loved on him and wanted him to be successful. And I couldn't ask for a better environment for him, honestly. But he didn't get to be a part of the exceptional needs classroom that I have right now.
Good.
He said, you didn't want to be in there with your mom?
No, he does not like seeing me at school.
Kaden, how do you like being at school? How is school for you?
You like school? Sit up.
Good.
You like school?
That's good. He's like, no, I don't want to be in a class with my mom. So no. Like the rest of us, we don't want to be with our parents.
Nah, just not. He's like the cool kid now. He doesn't. Yeah.
So as a teacher and a parent, you get to see both sides. How do you approach advocating both in the classroom and at home?
You know, at school for me, it's just like at home, like those are my babies. And now that I'm in the position that I'm in, I really have started to like really reach out to these parents. Kind of use a little bit more of my experience to help them understand kind of the path that they need to go on. But I'm glad that I'm able to share, you know, and be there for them and help them understand, because there's no handbook. I tell people that all the time. There's no handbook to be a parent, but there's definitely no handbook, you know, for being a parent of a special needs kid. And so I want to help people just like people help me. And that's how I look at it.
And that's great to have teachers like that, because I think lately one of our biggest fears as autism parents, and I talk to other moms about this, we're afraid to let our kids go to school. Lately it has been a lot of incidents with the teachers abusing the kids, and to know that I would feel super safe with you because I know you understand you have a kid at home and then in the classroom. So that's really amazing. What do you say to us parents that are nervous? Because I know I'm nervous, but I'm gonna let them go. But
I would tell you to develop a really good relationship with the environment that your child is going in, whether it's the aides, whether it's the teachers. Like, I think that's one of the things. Plus, I worked there, but I think one of the things that I did that a lot of parents don't do is make those relationships. And it's important because I think about it, like your kids actually spend a lot more time during the week with your teachers in the classroom than they do at home with you. And, you know, they take care of your kids and they love on them just like you want them to, you know? And so that's one of the things that we did. We just make those really good relationships with the aides and the teachers. And that helps. That helped a lot.
okay. And you stated that you are in school to become a BCBA, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What made you want to do that?
I'm gonna be honest. I always knew that I wanted to do special ed, but there was something extra I knew I needed to do, something more. And so once Kaden started going through ABA and I just was watching them come in, you know, it really drew me in. And that's just kind of how it started, honestly.
And you're my third mom that I've taught with, and y'all, one is a BCBA, and you and the other mom are finishing up y'all's program to become a BCBA.
Nice.
And the patience that y'all have, I give y'all all the credit in the world because I just mentally couldn't go to work with it and come home. Like, I work at an autism center now, but I work on the corporate side of it.
Oh,
so it's like, yeah, I'm doing my part, but y'all are doing the biggest part.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. Studying in your field and you're studying, what is a big misconception that you would like to see go away about ABA therapy?
I think, like right now, I've talked to a couple of parents and I think that they think that they're coming in to tell you what you should be doing. I think, you know, they need to kind of embrace it a little bit more, understand that they're coming to help you, not to take over, not to tell you what to do as a parent, but just to help you. And I think that's hard as a parent because you don't want anybody to tell you how to, you know, this is your kid. But it did take me a little while to be like, okay, they're coming in to help. You know, this is what, you know, suggestions and, you know, some criticism a little bit, but that's to help. And so I think that's one of the things that parents are afraid of.
Yeah. Because I think for me, I was like getting a little bit offended.
Yeah.
But I had to express to the BCBA, which I love his BCBA, like love them down. I had to express to her, like, it's kind of hurting that she knows my child better than me.
Yeah.
And the fact that I have to ask her things and I have to report to her
Right.
about things that my child does over the weekend. So when she would give me advice, I would kind of get offended because I'm like, this is my child,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So
I
that
get
was
it.
my only issue. And once her and I had a heart to heart, I put my walls down and I just embraced it because I'm like, I wouldn't be able to do this by myself.
Yeah. And you'll know, like, and he's only 4 now, but as he gets older, like, trust me, we've been there. Like, I tell people all the time, like, if I could tell you stories all day, but now, you know, we can go and do certain things out in public, out in the store. We've been to Disney World, you know, like, and we work really hard. So embracing all the resources, all the things, you know.
And do you plan on staying in the classroom or are you going to just leave the classroom and go out in the field?
I don't know. It's
Oh,
so hard. I actually worked in the ABA center about 2 years ago, so I got a little bit of a taste. So I'm trying to get a taste of like each, you know, one, but I don't know yet. I'm not sure.
How do you balance this all? Because, girl, we have to take care of our mental health. How do you balance?
Therapy is the first thing.
Okay.
I tell people all the time, like, if I didn't have therapy, like, yes, that's a must. Therapy and a lot of self-care. I've learned to do things for myself. Things that I like to do. I love to play video games. So like the Nintendo Switch,
Uh-huh.
love it. I find relaxing games, love that. I learn how to do my own nails. That's like stuff. Get my hair done, you know, just little stuff. But I like to be outside. So like when my son's in here, he's in doing his own thing. I go sit outside on the deck. Just, you know, things I like to do. I love the garden.
Okay.
So I found things to like, you know, that I like to do that, you know, I can do when he has his own time.
And what would you tell a mom that says, "Oh, I don't have time for that"? Like, who's gonna watch my kid? Like,
Yeah.
what would you tell them?
Um, we work really hard to get a routine. So I think, you know your child and you know those times and you know, you involve them. Like if you feel like you don't have anybody watching, a lot of times I'll have my son outside with me, you know, sometimes and he'll be doing his own thing, but I try to involve him too in things that I do. And you know, he'll enjoy it just as much as you do. But that's kind of how I do that as well. Because we don't have babysitters like everybody else. You know, we don't get time. But I've learned to include him in a lot of things, and he rolls with me everywhere we go. He rolls.
You love to hang with your mom, Kaden?
Yes.
Oh, you're such a sweet boy. I hope my son feels like that with me the older he gets. Because right now I drag him everywhere. I'm like, you're coming everywhere.
Everywhere.
And is Kaden the only child?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's all we got.
And you are married. So what does a good day look like in your household? Like as far as balancing your husband, making time for him, and then also, you know, making sure that Kaden is good.
I think the biggest thing is routine. I tell people all the time, I think we've been doing the same routine since Caden has come home day one. So I think because we've been doing that, we know the times where we can spend the time together. And we include, like I told you, we include him in stuff at night. Even when we're sitting around together at night, we try to include him. And of course, when he goes to sleep, we try to have our time. But I think because we know our routine, we know those times where we can insert those things in and have our time and his time too.
And what are some routines or tools that you all use to kind of like get Kaden on the right path?
I actually just got this. It's new, but it's called like an Ollie tablet. Something if you I can send you the link to, but it's
Please.
for kids with autism and Goalie, sorry, not Ollie, Goalie. And it's a tablet that you get and it has a program on it where you actually as a mom use the app, like make a routine for them and every day like it goes through the routine with them, and they get to like hit the little check. They work for points and coins. You make the rewards, like going to McDonald's. That has really helped with him, like doing his routine lately independently. But I would tell you, early on when we started doing the routine, there was a lot of us being involved. And, you know, with him being, you know, having the issues that he has, he also still needs me. Like, you know, there are a lot of things he can't do by himself too. So, you know, we still have to do the routine with him.
Sometimes people think that we glorify autism because we only talk about the good things.
Yeah.
So what is something that looks rough, like with you all, or that's hard for you that you wish that other people understood more?
I think that our everyday doesn't look like their everyday. Like, you know, some people, kids, you get to come home, they're very independent. You know, they do a lot of things, dress themselves, entertain themselves, feed themselves, you know, make their own food, however it goes. But, you know, our everyday doesn't look like that. And our everyday is not consistent either. You know, you never kind of know what our day is going to look like. You know, every day for us is kind of a new beginning kind of sort of thing. And so I think a lot of times I tell people that, you know, our days at home are not like yours specifically. And that's, I think, one thing a lot of them don't understand.
Before you all develop a like full out routine, how did you manage and things not looking how it would? You know, every day brings a new thing. So how did you manage before the routine just became set in place?
There are just so many moments, a lot of tantrums, a lot of just moments of overload, sensory overload. And honestly, we learned just as much as he did. You know, like I say, you go through those growing pains to get, you know, to where you are. But I'm gonna be honest, it just was so many moments, and we learned just along with him, like what he didn't like, what we needed to do to help him adjust. And yeah, it just and that's been, yeah.
No, I get it. I tell people I'm day by day and I'm definitely early in. So I learn something new every day from my child, whether it's something he can't do, he can do, he don't want to do. Like
Yep.
I learn it.
And it might change next month. Like next month, he might be able to do it, you know?
It's always changes. And
Always.
I tell everybody, and that's why I'm so focused on moms, because I tell everybody we go through it too.
Mm-hmm.
Because we'll think it's one thing and it's the opposite.
Yeah.
So we have to have someone pouring it into us and letting us know that it's okay as well.
Yeah.
It changes. I say it changes by the moment.
Most definitely. I agree on that one.
It's literally by the moment. So, Kaden, can I ask you a couple of questions?
Answer her questions.
No.
No. You don't want to tell her fun stuff? It's okay.
No, he said no.
Yeah. You want to try? No.
No. Okay. You've answered enough for me today, anyways. And you're funny.
He is hilarious. Most definitely hilarious.
He is hilarious. And I'm glad you came on with us.
Yeah.
What advice would you give a new mom coming into this journey?
Research and communicate, because that's the only way you're gonna like figure out the path for your kid, you know. And we're at kind of at the crossroads now, and I'm actually back at it because it's time for him to go to high school next year. So what does that look like for him, you know? And I know the environments that he needs to be in, you know, and that's kind of the road we're at. And I would tell anyone, like, you know, your kid, you know what's best for your kid. When your son goes to school, you know, you might have to change environments, things, you know. I tell people all the time, know what's going on. I pop up all the time. Like, you know, still be very active in your child's life. Never, like you said, never stop. Like, you always got to be there advocating. You're their voice.
Yeah.
You know what's best.
And I want to backtrack just a little bit because I think this is an important question and interesting to know. He is older and you got his diagnosis when he was 7. Back then, we didn't autism wasn't like this on social media as it is now.
No.
How would it have made a difference and played a different role, if it was like it was today back then for you?
I think I would have known the path to go on a little bit quicker and at an earlier age, because now you'll see like ads on your social media for like testing for diagnosis, just random. And like back then I had to ask around. There weren't but like 2-3 doctors, and I had to travel, and so even now, like, we travel to go everywhere to all his doctor's visits and everything, because that's the relationships we made. But I think now it's so much easy access to a lot more things. There's so many, like you said, ABA centers and, but we didn't have all that. So I think that would probably be the thing. I would have known what to do a little bit at a, earlier stage.
And what's one pro and one con to autism being, like, you might as well say it's plastered everywhere. Like, everybody talks about it. People that don't even have kids on the spectrum or don't even experience talk about it. So what's one pro and con of it being plastered on the internet like this, even though it's advocating for us?
Yeah.
What would you say is a pro and con?
I think a pro would be like people are aware more of what it is and, the abilities, because I think people think it's just this debilitating thing, and I think that's a pro, is people understand it a lot more when it's out there. A con, I think there's good stuff and there's bad stuff. Mm-hmm. And the bad stuff, if people get a hold of that, then you got to kind of bring people back, a little bit, because they don't, it's misinformation, a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So the misinformation would be a con, and I would definitely have to agree about that, because I feel like social media pushes the bad stuff.
Yeah. Yep. It does.
They push the negative more than they push the positive.
Yeah.
And then we have to go back in and recorrect, whether we're doing it online or at home. It has to be recorrected.
Yeah, I've done a lot of that.
All the time.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
So as we end, what would you like to just tell moms to keep going, even moms that are getting late diagnosis or having to overcome a lot like you all?
Just don't stop advocating for your babies. Like, you are their voice, and things are hard at times, but it will be a reward in the end. Like, watching them overcome those challenges, what you've been through to get there. Like, don't stop. When you give up, they're going to give up too. And it's just, you want to try. You want what's best for them, and what's best for them.
Yes.
Just don't stop.
And what's your confession as an autism mom?
I wouldn't trade him. I love being a part of the community. I'm going to be honest. I might not have felt that way at first, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. And
you are doing amazing. I have to say, you let Kaden come up here, and Kaden told me what I needed to know. And I really appreciate that, because this is a different outview that people can get. And the fact that he's using sign language and an AAC device to communicate with me, that was amazing.
I appreciate it.
And so you all, this is the end of today's episode. Kajsa, would you like to share your social media platform with us?
Yeah, I'm only on a few. So on Instagram, I'm Mrs. Pitts to you, and on Facebook, I'm just Kajsa Pitts. But a lot of my stuff is Kaden. So if you want to see Kaden and peep him out, you can get on my pages there. He's definitely on there.
Yes, and y'all make sure y'all check Kaden out. He is amazing, and make sure you follow their journey as he grows. Because, Mom, you say he starts high school next year?
Yeah, he'll be in 8th grade, which kind of starts high school the year after next.
Okay, after that. Yeah. And we want to see that journey, because we love to see our babies grow and just see the different, not challenges also, but how they overcome those challenges. That's very important to us moms that have, younger kids. And Kajsa even talked about how she had to go out and talk to people, because autism wasn't talked about or on social media as it is now. So moms like Kajsa, she's very important to follow, because we need information from them. Like now we have it like from everybody, but to know what it's like to put in the work, we need that, because they may have things that we don't even know or talk about. So thank you so much, Kajsa, for coming on this evening and talking with us. And I will put all of her platforms in the description below. And make sure you all leave a positive message for Kaden, because he is amazing. And he talked to me today, and I really appreciated that. Thank you for coming on, Kaden.
Say bye.
Bye. You all make sure you all like, subscribe, and make sure you follow for the next episode. And I will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.